I love this place.
Well, thank you. We love having you here. As you know, we've gone through many changes. As you know, as people have seen us throughout the year on Wave Listens, we are now to 75,000 square feet, all on one level. Of course, this time of year it's not that important, but we all are heated and air conditioned. It's kind of interesting because you can come in and we're actually the length of 2 football fields, which is very cool.
Think about that just for a minute. The length of 2 football fields full of stuff to buy. It's so scary.
Exactly, and we understand that it can be a little overwhelming for people because I come in and I'll come in here and plan on spending an hour, working in my area, and then I'll come in and get caught up in it, and I'll be here 2.5 or 3 hours, and then I have to, go home and work at night because I spent 2.5 or 3 hours. But we have a lot of new dealers here, and that's exciting because we continue to get, all kinds of new stuff. And then a lot of dealers are coming in that sort of focus in different expertises. Like you'll have somebody who does mid-century modern, somebody who does, high-end antiques, somebody who's more of a, I hate to use the word junk dealer, but people will have a lot of little things that you can get.
One man's treasure.
Exactly, is another man's, what do they call that?
Junk.
Junk, exactly. But we have a lot of, one of the big things that people have always asked us about every time we're on, and I always say to them, they always want to know how to go about appraising an item or trying to find out the value of an item. And I have always been able to just tell people, the way I do it is I go to Google, try to go to the library or whatever you kind of have the opportunity to do. But today we're lucky we have Scott Nussbaum here, who's also a dealer at Goss Avenue Antiques and Interiors, and he's a certified appraiser, and he's going to be here for a couple of segments talking about how you can sort of tell the difference between a print and an oil painting, and just giving some general ideas about how you can go about getting things appraised, which I think is really great.
Okay, yeah, because we always have questions about that.
Exactly, and then we also have Travis from Olivia's is going to be here sharing some of the ideas and things and changes and happenings that are going on in Olivia's, some of the Valentine's things. And then we have Bobby Waldron, who is one of the costume jewelry dealers. And
she has beautiful jewelry.
Yeah, and I thought it would be great to have her in so she could give us some of the latest and greatest there, so she could show us some great ideas on maybe some Valentine's Day gifts.
Oh!
Yeah. So.
Wait, during the break, remind me to call my husband and tell him to watch. All right?
Exactly. And then you can always keep in mind that we also have a layaway plan, which is awesome.
Okay.
Because...
and I think that's another one of the new things, if you will, about Goss Avenue Antiques and Interiors. The new name does represent as well that it's not just old stuff. There's also brand new things here.
Yeah, we want to, I'm probably the... while I want to make sure that the mall stays an antique mall, I'm probably the most guilty of having the newest items, because as being an interior designer, I can't always find what I need to fill every hole and do everything with an antique. But I try to. I mean, I want to, because I'm trying to be conscious of the landfills and my carbon blueprint. And my carbon blueprint is enlarged because of my responsibility of decorating other people's houses.
Right.
So I'm just becoming more and more aware. And then that sort of leads us into, we have Joshua Wilkes and Drew Gard here today, and they're both designers, and they're going to be sharing with us some of the latest trends about design and talking a little bit further about the use of green materials and green things in interior design, as well as just how responsible it is to shop in antique malls and buying things secondhand, because it really does, it's just better for us. It's better all the way around. I don't want to, I've talked about Chinese imports before, but and I'm not saying it's all bad, but the truth is we are inundated with imports that are sort of cluttering up our landfills and things like that. So it's kind of, it just sort of, and then also the value of things you get from having a if you buy something that's an antique, it actually has a value, usually the same value the day you leave after buying it. But if you go buy a new piece of furniture, it's like buying a car. The minute you walk out from buying it and get it delivered, it doesn't have nearly as much value.
Well, and I think the other thing that's important to point out is the quality.
Exactly.
So many things. I mean, Willett Furniture, for instance, was a furniture manufacturing company right here in Louisville, and it's beautiful cherry furniture that was made with pride.
It is.
And will last for generations and generations.
Exactly. We also have today where it's like I do sell new furniture. I represent some major collections, but I try to find good quality things. And then of course there's something new or old. There is something for everybody, and that's one of the things I wanted to do, because I just have trouble finding comfortable upholstery pieces that are antiques. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
But and then also sometimes the cost of having things reupholstered are not is a challenge to be able to fit into your budget, because you can typically buy a brand, I have a brand new beautiful Bernhardt sofa on the floor here for $1,300, but if I were to buy an antique sofa for $1,300 and needed to have it upholstered and covered, and so it's all kind of it's sort of give and take a little bit. But when I can be responsible, I'm going to try to be responsible.
Okay. The other thing that I want to point out to everybody too, if you haven't been here in a while, is, and something that I absolutely love, is that now when you shop here, if you pick up something at a booth and then you're walking along and you see something else that you'd like to pick up at a booth, there's always people walking around that will say, "Can I take that to the desk for you, ma'am?" I love that.
Yeah. Actually, the mall has also added new staff members, which is really good, because we have more salespeople on the floor, and then they've all, because we've become kind of a design showroom in addition to being an antique mall, you can actually come in and get real design advice from area to area from the salespeople at Goss Avenue, because there's pretty much always a designer here now, which is awesome, because that makes it, because a lot of people, when I'm here, I get pulled away a lot to sort of answer questions for things, and that's all fine and good, but now it's nice that they have staff that can actually answer those questions.
Or if you ran into somebody like Josh or Drew that happened to be here, you might hit it off and find somebody that would be perfectly happy to come to your home and help you.
Exactly.
Yay, I love that too.
It's awesome. People, there's a whole wide array of services that can be offered from Goss Avenue that just, it's going to eventually, we think the long-term goal is here, is it's just going to become a one-stop shop for all things related to your home, and that's sort of the cool thing.
All right. So, yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you have questions about an item that you might have, we've got Scott Nussbaum coming up that will be able to answer some of those calls, hopefully. If you've got design questions, Barry can do that too, obviously. Yep. So we can take calls. 571-5263 is a telephone number, or 888-800-9283. When we get back, we'll introduce you to Scott, and we'll talk to Bobby, and we're going to talk to lots and lots of people today. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.